Hello and welcome back to Geek Power Toy Reviews. And on today's episode, we're going to be building the LEGO Star Wars set 75316 Mandalorian Starfighter from Star Wars The Mandalorian Disney Plus original series. Here on the front of the box, you see the LEGO Star Wars logo at the top, left hand corner. On the top right hand corner, you see the Ahsoka clone LEGO minifigure design. Then we have an age recommendation of 9+ years, the set number and the set name, the Disney logo, a large picture on the front of the box displaying the Mandalorian Starfighter, and then down at the bottom we have the 3 LEGO minifigures included. They are Gar Saxon, Bo-Katan Kryze, and Mandalorian Loyalist. On the back of the box, we have a demonstration of the stud shooter in the top left-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner, we have a demonstration of how the wings and cockpit rotate independently, and a demonstration of how you can fit 2 LEGO minifigures inside the cockpit. Also on the back of the packaging, we have the Mandalorian Starfighter in its landed position, and the 3 LEGO minifigures fighting each other. Now let's move on to the build. Inside the box there are not just 1, 2, 3, but 4 numbered bags, an included sticker sheet with 5 stickers to use on the build, and the all-important instruction manual. As we open the instruction manual, we have an indication on the best way to build, using 1 bag at a time, and then only moving on to the next bag once the first bag has been completely used. And we also have a demonstration on how to use the LEGO brick separator. And here it tells us which bag builds what part of the set and which minifigures come in which bag. So the instructions tell us to start with bag number 1. Inside the bag we have a smaller bag full of even more pieces. We also have a Mandalorian helmet accessory set. And here is a closer look of all the Lego pieces and accessories that have been included in the first bag, and a closer look at the first official page of the instructions. So first of all, as you saw, it wants me to build the Bo-Katan Kryze minifigure, which is nice and simple. All we need are the legs, the torso, the jetpack piece, and the minifigure head, followed either by the helmet with antenna or the hairpiece. For the time being, we'll pop the hairpiece on Bo-Katan. And then I will assemble the antenna piece on the side of her helmet. Like so. We'll pop that down by the side of the minifigure. And it also wants us to put two pistols with her. One in each hand. Okay, so the next page wants us to grab a 2x4 plate in light bluish grey, followed by a 1x4 plate, also in light bluish grey, and attach it like so. Then another 2x4 plate in light bluish grey, attached like so. Then it wants a third one, followed by the 1x2 Lego modified plate with the ball on the end. The next are the two 2x2 stud slope pieces. Followed by another 2x2, 2x4 studded light bluish grey plate. Now wants us to put a 2x3 light tan Lego plate just over the the modified ball joint. The next step, it wants us to put two 1x2 stud slope bricks next to the 2x2 stud slope bricks. Now I want us to build two sub-assemblies with two light bluish grey slope bricks and two 1x2 light bluish grey plates, and they simply want us to put the plates just under the bricks like so, and then attach those to the main part of the build. So we'll do the same again and attach them like so. The next assembly it wants us to make is take one of these 2x8 dark bluish grey plates and the 4x6 Technic brick with a 2x4 hollow space in the middle, and attach those together like so. And then it wants another 2x8 light bluish grey plate attached at the other end, followed by a 2x6 lime green plate attached in the middle like so, followed by two Technic axle 1x2 stud bricks with the axle hole in the centre, placed here in the 2x4 gap on the Technic brick. And it wants to do the same again, but this time with the standard green 1x2 Lego brick with the axle hole in the centre, attached just like so. Now it wants us to include the two reddish brown axle rods with the stopper at the end. Into the hole, into the far left and far right hole on the Technic brick, and pushed right through. It now wants us to flip the assembly upside down and attach another 2x6 lime green plate underneath. And then wants us to flip it over again, this time attaching two Technic pins in the regular blue, but these ones have a regular pin length on one side and a double pin length on the other. So it wants us to include two on this side, one on the far left and one in the centre. And then it wants us to do the same thing again on the other side. However, this time it wants us to put the pins on the far right and the centre. And then once that's done, it wants us to take the previous assembly and attach it right on top. So that's how that all comes together when you attach both assemblies. Now it wants us to take the 2 standard yellow colour Technic rod pieces and 6 of the dark bluish grey 1x2 Lego bricks with the axle hole in the centre. And then it wants us to attach 3 of these Technic bricks at one end. And then it wants us to do the same with the other pieces. So now we have a pair, and they want us to attach these 2 in the centre of the original assembly. Just like so. And now it wants us to flip it all upside down and attach 2 modified Technic plates that have the slope on one side, and then the matching piece, and when they're brought together they make almost an arrowhead. But what they want us to do is attach them either side of the light green pieces. Then it wants us to take another 2 of the exact same pieces and lay them this time on top of the lime green pieces. Now the instructions want us to take this modified slope piece, which is roughly 4 studs wide by 4 studs deep, but with that added slope on all sides basically. It wants us to turn it upside down and connect the 1x2 light bluish grey Technic socket piece and attach it there. And then it wants us to also attach the 2x2 stud modified plate with the rounded bottom in the centre. And then it wants us to take the ball joint and the socket joint and attach those 2 together, keeping that section flat against the underside of the plates that we previously applied to the set. Turning the assembly back the right way up, it now wants us to take these bionicle pieces that have the Technic axle hole here and the socket joint here, and push 2 red Technic axle pieces through both sides. And then apply 2 of the 1x2 stud dark bluish grey bricks with the Technic axle hole in the centre on either side. like so, and then attach that to the back of the assembly there, followed by 2 sub-assemblies which include 2 more of those Technic axle hole 1x2 studded bricks in dark bluish grey, and 2 of these half and half Technic pins. One half has the axle and the other half has the pin. And I want us to put the axle half into the hole on the brick like so. The same with this one. So it looks like that. And then it wants us to connect the brick next to the previous sub-assembly on the main part of the build. Now it's time for us to cover up this section here with 2 2x8 dark bluish grey plates and 1 2x6 lime green plate, just to cover up what we've previously been building. The next step is to use these 2 Technic lift arms and apply those to both sides of the assembly. But first we need to use this modified Technic pin piece that has the ball joint on that side and the Technic pin on that side, and they want us to attach it here just below the Technic axle hole. And the same with this one. However, as you can see, they're mirrored, and that is to help with the assembly process. So this side it wants that section pointing downward, so it's assembled like that. And then on the other side it also wants us to point this section downward with that ball joint on the outside. And there you have it. The next step in the instructions wants us to take the 2x6 dark bluish grey Lego plate and have it cover those studs there just before the back section. And then it wants us to take 2 2x2 stud dark bluish grey plates and have those cover up these sections here and here, followed by a 1x2 stud Lego plate in red going just in front of the bionicle socket piece there, and then 2 2x3 dark bluish grey Lego plates covering up the sections here and here. Next it wants 1 2x4 black Lego brick to go in front of the red 1x2 Lego plate, and then 2 of these L-shaped Lego plates that have a standard 1x2 Lego anti-stud at the bottom, and then a thin backing which consists of half a plate of height. And it wants those 2 bricks to be applied here and here, followed by 2 more 1x2 red Lego plates to go in front of the black Lego brick. A 2x4 dark bluish grey Lego plate to go in front of those 2 red plates. And finally for this stage, 2 more of those alternating slopes on the modified Lego plate to go either side of those Lego pieces. And once again it wants us to layer these sloped pieces on top of each other, followed by a 1x2 blue Lego brick, again in front of the 2x4 black Lego brick. And lastly for this page, it wants us to apply 2 1x3 light bluish grey Lego plates, which are smooth because they don't include any studs on top, and to place those on the tops here. And lastly, it wants us to include a 2x2 stud Lego brick with the grill detailing. However, this one's quite unique because it's only 2 plates thick. Usually a Lego brick is 3 plates thick, but this one is very unique in that way. And it also has a Technic axle hole in the centre. It's the first time I've ever encountered a piece like this, and if you've also encountered pieces like this, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I want us to include that piece just in front of the 1x2 Lego brick that we previously placed on the assembly. Next up, it wants us to use another 1x2 red Lego plate and 4 of these modified tiles that have a cheese slope attached or already molded into the piece, that has 1 exposed stud and still a 1x2 anti-stud. So we need 3 more of those. And they need to be attached right on top of where the black 2x4 Lego brick was. And then the 1x2 Lego plate in red can go in front of the 1x2 blue Lego brick. Which is then followed by one 2x3 dark bluish grey Lego plate and a 2x2 stud light bluish grey tile, and they're supposed to be attached together like so. And then on the main assembly, they want it to cover the studded area of the modified plate with the slopes and the 1x2 blue Lego brick. And now we get to apply our first sticker of the set, and that's to go on another one of these sloped bricks. So it wants us to apply the fifth sticker of the set, which on the Lego sheet, which on the sticker sheet is this one here, and it wants us to apply it with the main engine detailing at the top of the brick closest to the studded area. And here you see the finished product. And now it wants us to attach that sticker piece over the three sections here, allowing it to get full contact with the main assembly. Now it looks like the next sub-assembly will be the turret piece at the tail end of the Starfighter. So it wants us to use a rounded 4x4 light bluish grey plate, followed by a similar design plate but with a rounded 2x2 studded plate hole in the centre. It wants us to just stack those like so. Then it wants us to take two of these dark bluish grey 2x2 studded rounded plates and attach them like this. And then they want us to take this miniature assembly and pop that in the hole between the two original plates. Next, it wants us to take two of these light bluish grey hollow studs, which give you a Lego bar piece attachment point through the centre. And it wants us to attach both of them to the top of this sub-assembly. And then to smooth out the studded areas, they want us to use two curved 2x2 stud light bluish grey plates around the outside, covering 50% of the perimeter with smooth Lego tiles, now followed by these 1x1 stud Lego tiles that have a straight right angle and then a curved angle here, and they want us to attach them to this section here and this section here, giving you almost a fully smooth tiled section of the sub-assembly. The next part are two jumper pieces. So the first one is a 1x2 dark bluish grey tile with a single stud in the centre, with the remaining of that Lego piece being completely smooth tiles. and they'd like us to attach that to the two hollow studs that we see at the top of the sub-assembly, like so, followed by a 2x2 rounded black Lego plate with a single stud in the centre. This also has a hollow stud allowing for a Lego peg piece to go straight through. And there you have it. Now the last two sections of this sub-assembly are nice and easy. All it wants is another hollow stud in light bluish grey to go over that dark bluish grey jumper tile, and this bar-sized Technic pin piece to go straight through the hollow stud. Then it wants us to rotate the sub-assembly to the back and attach the half and half blue Technic pin piece with the Technic axle on this side and the Technic pin on this side, and then attach that through the opening on the underside, like so. And lastly, it wants us to attach the sub-assembly via the Technic pin piece into the center open Technic hole, just like so, and it has full rotation 360 degrees on the tail gunner seat. With all the pieces from bag 1 used, the only spare pieces are a light bluish grey 1x1 stud with a hole in the middle, a modified plate with the right angle and the curved section, and one more of those Technic bar pieces. The only other spares in this first bag are the remaining parts of Mandalorian helmet accessories, which are 3 of these antenna pieces and 4 of these visor pieces. Now we're going to move on to bag number 2. So in bag number 2 we get another 2 smaller bags inside, both including small pieces, so it's easier to divide them up before building. So it looks like the minifigure in bag number 2 is going to be the Mandalorian Loyalist, and just like Bo-Katan, this will be nice and easy. All it wants us to do is take the legs and torso piece and attach it like so. And it wants us to take the jetpack piece and put that over the neck hole. Now there's no printed face for the Mandalorian Loyalist, it's just a solid black Lego minifigure head. which needs to go over the neck, which keeps the jetpack piece nice and secure. And then finally we have the Mandalorian Loyalist helmet, which has a really great print, as you can see. And then just like Bo-Katan, the Mandalorian Loyalist has two more of these pistols that we will see closer up in the upcoming review of this set, which will be coming soon to this YouTube channel. And for the time being, we'll pop the Mandalorian Loyalist next to Bo-Katan Kryze. Now moving on to the next part of this set, which I believe is the cockpit and nose of the Starfighter. So first off, it wants us to take a 1x12 stud dark bluish grey plate, and it wants us to attach two 4 stud by 4 stud modified bricks with slopes on the side, and then the hollow studs in the center. And they want us to attach those here and here, followed by a 2x4 stud similar brick piece to this one. It's basically half the size, and just wants us to attach it here. That's followed by a sub-assembly of another one of these pieces in dark bluish grey with a 2x3 stud black plate attached here, and the 2x2 light tan brick attached here. And before we add it to the main section, it wants us to take two modified bracket pieces, which, as you can see, have a 1x2 stud surface on the bottom, and then vertically attached with a half plate thick sized attachment. It has a 2x2 open stud section here, and it wants us to put two of those either side of the 2x2 light tan brick. There you have it, and it wants us to attach that to the final two studs of this 2x12 dark bluish grey Lego plate, like so. The next step is to apply two 2x2 stud white Lego plates in front of the black plate, and then two studs down. We'll also take the second 2x2 white Lego tile and apply it here. And then between those two tiles, it wants a modified light tan 2x2 stud plate. On the top it has a 1x2 exposed studded area and a 1x2 flat tile space. And it wants us to take the studded section and put that closer to that sub-assembly that we previously applied. And then continuing on from the white plate, it wants us to take a 2x4 blue studded plate and attach it here. That is then followed by another 1x2 dark bluish grey plate attached at the end like so. And now it wants 4 modified 1x1 black Lego square stud pieces that have a clip on the top. And the instructions tell us to apply it over these studs here. Followed by a 1x2 studded red Lego plate. On this section here. The next step now wants us to include a 1x2 light bluish grey Lego plate over the red plate. A black 1x2 Lego hinge socket needs to be applied just in front of that light bluish grey plate. And then a 1x2 light tan plate with an added T-section or groove piece to go over that blue studded area right there. Now it wants 2 long Lego dark bluish grey bar pieces that has the stopper at one side, one attached across these 2 clips here, and the second attached opposite. With 3 light bluish grey 1x2 studded tiles, covering the 3 studded areas in the centre of the build. The next sub-assembly includes the 2x2 stud hinged piece, which will sit in the 1x2 black hinge socket, and the sub-assembly wants to take this piece and apply the 2x4 blue studded plate, followed by a standard 1x2 dark bluish grey plate here, and a black bracket piece that has 2 studs on the top, 2 studs on the side, and unlike with the previous bracket piece, this one has an overhang. And they want us to put this piece just on the end here, almost covering the section that will go into the hinge piece socket. Next, they want us to take the printed double cheese slope. This one, as you can see, has a 1x2 stud anti-stud section. It's 2 plates high and has a cheese slope. And then the printed section is of a Starfighter navigation tablet. And they want us to pop that section just on this part of the overhang here. For this fourth step, they also want us to take a dark bluish grey 2x2 stud plate and place it over the remaining 2x2 studs of the blue 2x4 studded piece here. And lastly, we want us to take this light bluish grey shield piece, place that over that studded section there. And then I want us to take this sub-assembly and attach it into the hinge socket piece. The next section wants us to take another 2x12 dark bluish grey plate and the 1x4 light bluish grey plate and attach it like so, leaving one stud's gap at the end that we're going to fill in with a square 1x1 Lego studded plate at the end here. The next part is another one of those 1x2 L-shaped plates with the half plate backing attached just in front of one of the studs of the 1x4 Lego plate. Now it wants us to take a 1x8 light bluish grey plate and attach that to this side of the modified plate, followed by another 1x4 light bluish grey tile on top of the 1x8 plate. Next is a dark blue 1x6 stud blue tile to go at the top next to the 1x4 light bluish grey plate and above the previous parts we've applied here. Next, it wants us to take 2 more 1x1 stud square plates and apply them next to these sections here and here. The next step wants us to take one of these modified plates with the slope at one end and attach that to the 2 studs that were overhanging at this section here, followed by a dark blue sloped plate with a 1x4 studded area to be attached here, and a 1x3 dark bluish grey smooth tile to go in the gap between the two dark blue sections. Now we need to apply a large plate, roughly 15 studs long and 1 stud wide. It has a gradual curve going down the brick and a 1x4 plate gap underneath, and they want us to apply that here. With a modified Lego piece that has a curve on the top, a fraction of a stud at the bottom, and a full 1x1 stud underneath, with a 1x1 stud plate gap underneath. To continue that line, the grey strip to a finer point. The next step wants us to apply a 1x2 light bluish grey tile to the studded area here, and a dark blue 1x1 stud G-slope, as you can see here, and they want us to apply it right there. They now want us to flip the assembly upside down so we can apply a modified 2x2 Lego plate that has the corner slope here, and apply that to this section here. Now it wants us to flip it back over and apply it to the main assembly of bag 2. By applying it to this section here. Like so. And now it wants us to repeat that process for the other side. And now with the other half of that section fully built, I can now apply that to the studded area here. Now it wants us to apply two 1x6 light tan studded plates here and here, followed by a 2x4 studded plate in blue covering the light tan section between the two bracket pieces, and 4 of these modified plates that have 2x2 studs on the top with a plate difference of height, and then on the side it has 2 open studs with a 1x2 studded area here. Want to take 4 of those pieces and apply them to the sides of the build here and here. The next part asks us to take this large ballpoint piece with 2x2 studs and an actual hole running through the brick. They want us to attach that to the 2x4 blue Lego plate here, followed by 2 1x3 light bluish grey modified bricks with the slope along the side and the one stud on top. Wants us to take 2 of those pieces and place them either side of the modified brick piece that I just showed you. And lastly, for this section, it wants us to take 2 more of those dark blue 1x1 stud G-slope pieces and attach those to this stud here and this stud here. Now I want to take a 2x4 light bluish grey Lego brick and apply it over the top of this section, and 4 more of the 1x2 light bluish grey Lego plates to cover up the studded sections here and here. And lastly, for this section, it wants us to take 2 of these modified 1x2 light bluish grey plates with the peg section here and apply them to the middle of the 2x4 light bluish grey Lego brick here. Next, it wants us to take two light bluish grey overhanging bracket pieces, just like the previous ones I've showed you. However, these ones have the 1x2 studded surface on the top here, and a half plate thick Lego bracket piece with 2x2 open studs here. We want to take two of those pieces and put them either side of the modified bricks here, which gives you a completely studded section here and here. I'll do the same on the other side. And then it wants a dark bluish grey 1x2 studded plate attached to the top, just like so. And then they want that section smoothed over with a 1x4 dark bluish grey piece that has a curve over the top and no exposed studs, with a 1x2 stud plate gap underneath. And that's to help cover up this studded section here, and you can see how the 1x2 studded plate is filled in that gap there. It also needs us to use another one of those modified Lego tiles with the curved section here and the two straight sections there to cover up the studs here and here. And then starting to build on the side, it wants us to take a 1x3 stud Lego plate and a 1x2 Lego plate in dark bluish grey, and attach them there. And just underneath that one there. Then it wants another two of those curved 1x4 Lego bricks attached here and here, giving it that more circular shape around the outside. The next section wants us to take two more of these curved pieces and attach one to this stud here and another one to that stud there. And now we get to apply one of the stud shooters by taking the main section here, applying the trigger or actuator, which is this tiny little piece, and putting it in this section here. And what will happen is when you put the stud into that end and then you press down on the trigger, the stud will fire out. But before we can do that, we need to take another one of these modified 1x2 Lego pieces with the curve along the top and the 1x1 square stud space below, and attach that here. And then wants us to take this sub-assembly and apply it to the 1x4 stud space here. And then the next section wants us to repeat the process that we've done on this side here. And now that we've repeated the process that we did on this side here and on this side here, we can now finally attach this section of the cockpit and the front nose piece of the Starfighter to our original assembly that we put together in the first bag by attaching the ball joint to the ball socket, just like so. And now the cockpit section is attached to the main engine section. And now it looks like we're going to be making the engine covering, which should be nice and simple. So first of all, it wants us to attach a 1x3 dark bluish grey Lego plate to the 2x4 dark bluish grey plate, followed by a second underneath it here, kind of layering the plates in this technique, and then a 1x4 Lego plate attached to the underside here, and then filling in this section here and here to create a solid 3 stud by 5 stud 2 plate thick assembly. And now it wants us to take that assembly, flip it upside down, and apply some 1x3 light bluish grey modified tiles with 2 open studs in the centre, and attach those all the way around this assembly on its underside. With a total of 6 being used. And then there's how that looks, all assembled. Then the final step is a 1x3 dark bluish grey tile with a studded surface, and a 1x3 dark bluish grey studded smooth tile stacked on top of each other like so, and placed in the centre of that engine cover assembly. finally taking 6 of these 1x2 dark bluish grey studs with plates with the slope and the grille detailing. You want us to take 6 of those pieces, place 3 along this side and 3 along this side. So it looks like that. And then the instructions want us to take this section and place it in this gap here, covering the ball and socket joint as I've previously shown you. And with all that together, it now makes it look just that little bit more complete. The next section asks us to put together the cockpit cover piece, which is this large section here, and a 1x2 light bluish grey tile over the studded area here, since the cockpit glass piece has a 2x2 open studded section on the top and a bar section at the back. It also wants us to apply 3 more stickers from the sticker sheet, those being stickers numbered 2, 3 and 4. So sticker number 2 needs to go here. I've tried to do it as straight as I can. It is a tiny bit crooked. You can see how it continues the grey colour scheme. And then stickers number 3 and 4 will go along this section here and this section here. And then once those stickers and the Lego brick is applied, we can then apply that to the main section, putting it into the clip pieces at the top here, and then hinging the cockpit piece down like so. And there you have it, the full cockpit, fully assembled, and we can even utilise the rotating feature due to that ball and socket joint. And finally for this section, it wants us to take the full assembly, turn it upside down, and apply 4 of these modified bricks that have a 1x3 studded surface on the top, and then 2 slopes down either side, ending in a 1x1 stud, anti-stud at the bottom. And they want us to apply that piece here on the underside of the two 2x4 Lego plates, here and here. And then on the underside of the 2x12 piece, here and here. Now we move on to bag number 3, which looks like it will be giving us the instructions and the pieces to build the wing section for the left hand side of the Starfighter here. But before we move on, I just want to show you the spare pieces that we got in this section, which are a dark blue 1x1 stud cheese slope, another trigger for a stud shooter, a curved 1x1 Lego plate in dark bluish grey, and a square 1x1 stud in light bluish grey. So in bag number 3 we have 2 smaller bags with smaller pieces inside. There's quite a few various sizes and colours of plates to create the wings. And it looks like there's no minifigures included in bag number 3. But first off, we need to build the mechanism to help raise and lower the wings in its attack formation and its landing position, which includes the dark bluish grey and light bluish grey ratcheted pieces, which when connected allow us to angle whatever it's attached to in different positions, and the way we attach it is through the Technic pinholes on either side. And for this one, it wants us to attach 2 of the blue pins that has a regular pin length on one side and 2 pin lengths on the other. And he wants to attach those here and here. And then they want us to take a standard black Technic pin like this one and attach it in the center just there. Then it wants us to take that assembly and put the center hole over the yellow axle pin, and then attach the light grey piece to those Technic pins here and here. Like so. Still giving us full use and articulation of the ratcheting joint. The next step needs us to take one of these brown Technic axle pieces with the stopper at the end and put that through the open section on the light grey half of the ratchet piece, pushing it through like that. Now moving on to the wing section, it wants us to take a 4x6 light bluish grey plate and a 1x3 dark blue tile and apply it here. It wants us to also take a 1x2x2x1 corner studded tile in dark blue and attach it here, followed by a 4x6 dark bluish plate attached here, and now it wants a large 6x2 by 5 light bluish grey corner tile attached here, like so, and another 1x2x2x1 stud corner tile in dark blue attached here, and a 1x10 stud dark bluish plate attached along this section here, Now for added detail, it wants a light bluish grey square studded plate, a 1x2 smooth light bluish grey tile, a 1x2 studded plate in dark blue, and a 2x2 dark bluish grey tile with a slope down the side and the 1x2 exposed studded area. And finally a 1x1 rounded dark bluish grey stud. And they want those pieces attached here, 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 and lastly, here. The next section is another 1x2 dark bluish plate applied on the underside to fill in that gap there. And a 4x4 dark bluish plate placed here to square off that section here and here. And then adding more detail to the wings, it needs a dark bluish grey 1x2 tile plate, a 2x2 dark bluish grey tile, a 1x6 light bluish grey plate, and another light bluish grey 1x1 stud, which need to be attached to continue the strip that runs along this section, and then the grey detailing here, like so. It now needs us to take a 6x8 dark blue plate and attach it to the underside here, followed by a 1x2 stud corner tile and a 1x2 light bluish grey tile. They need to be attached here and here, along with a 1x2 dark blue plate and a 1x4 dark blue plate, and lastly for this section, a 2x2 stud dark blue plate here. The next section needs an 8x8 stud large corner tile with the slope on diagonal slope on this section here connected to the tile we previously placed, and then continuing to increase the connection along here. We need 2 more of those 1x2 by 2x1 corner plates in dark blue, attaching those here and here, followed by another 2x2 dark blue tile here. The next step is to include a diagonal blue stripe along this section with 5 of these modified 2x2 blue tiles with a 1x2 studded area on the top and a diagonal slope down the side. Starting from this corner here, going all the way along, applying them as we go. And then to make that diagonal line look a lot bolder, you need to apply 5 1x2 blue plates. And then lastly, a 1x2 dark blue plate applied to this section here. And as you can see, that really helps make that blue strip look a lot bolder. We continue with that section in the next step, where it wants 5 more of those sloped plates. Going in this direction to complete the diagonal design. Ending with a dark bluish grey rounded stud in the bottom corner there. And now to continue with the next section of the wing, it wants us to use a 2x3 plate with the diagonal cut and the 1x2 studded surface there, and a 1x3 light bluish grey tile here, and to attach those to this section here and here. And then now to elongate the wing in this direction, it wants us to use this modified plate with 6 studs by 12 studs and a diagonal cut along this section, and connect it to those light grey pieces that we just applied. Followed by a 1x4 green tile attached here, and the triangular plate that's completely smooth and covers a 1x2, half a 2x2 studded area to fill in the gap there, with a 1x1 rounded dark bluish grey stud in this corner here. It also needs us to use another one of those 2x2 stud with half a stud diagonal cut and a 2x3 dark blue plate applied here and here. It now wants us to continue the light bluish grey stripe going diagonally this way with two of these tiles in light bluish grey going along this section, a 1x4 green plate applied here, another one of those 2x2 dark blue plates with the diagonal slope applied there, and lastly for this section another dark bluish grey circular stud in this corner here. And to add some depth to the light grey stripe here, it wants us to include a dark bluish grey stripe to this section here, covering up those green sections that we previously put down, and two more of these 2x2 stud with the diagonal slope here and here. The next section continues on to strengthen the wing by applying more of the 1x2 dark blue plates, the 2x2 stud corner tile, a 1x4 stud dark blue plate, and lastly a 2x3 stud light bluish grey plate. They're applied here, the light bluish grey plate, the diagonal plate is applied here, the 1x4 plate is applied there, and the 1x2 plate is applied next to the rounded light dark bluish grey stud there. Next we continue the blue strip by taking two 1x8 plate tiled plates and applying them there and there. looks like we're going to complete the pointed section of this wing with this upcoming sub-assembly by taking the 3x6 plate with the diagonal slope here, attaching the 2x2 dark blue plate with the slope here, and attaching them like this, taking a second blue large tile and applying it there, then taking this longer 2x4 triangular plate with the diagonal slope and the 1x2 studded area, and applying it here. Now we need 2 more of those smooth 2x2 plates with the diagonal cut, and applying them here and here. And then another one of those curved 2x1 pieces with the slope here, the curved edge, and the 1x1 square plate gap here, and attaching it to the end of this sub-assembly. And then lastly, all we need to do is attach the 2x2 blue plate here like so, and a 1x2 dark blue plate along here. We can now take that sub-assembly and attach it to this section, connecting it into that gap there, like so. And if we turn the wing assembled to this point and we rotate it upside down, we can now apply the 1x3 light bluish grey plate that you see here to the underside in this bottom corner, followed by the 2x2 yellow plate 1 stud higher, and the 2x6 dark bluish grey plate applied 1 stud higher. The next step is to apply a dark blue 1x2 plate to the yellow section, a standard 1x2 Lego brick in dark bluish grey, next to the 1x3 Lego plate, and in a row 3 of these modified 2x2 Lego plates in dark bluish grey with the Technic pinhole on the underside, and attach them along this section here. So the underside of the wing after this section looks like this. Next we need to take the 1x8 stud Technic brick with the Technic holes along the side, attach a black Technic pin piece and attach that to the first hole on Technic hole on the left, followed by another one of those modified 2x2 dark bluish grey plates with the Technic hole on the underside. So you have a sub-assembly that looks like this. You then need to take that sub-assembly and attach it to the underside of the wing, making sure it's all completely and securely placed. And now to add some more stability to the wing, we need to take another one of these curved 1x2 pieces, now with the curve on the underside and 2 studded areas on the top, and apply that into the little gap here, so that when the piece goes in, it fills in that gap there. And then we need another one of these 4x6 dark blue plates, a 2x6 dark bluish plate, and a blue 4x4 plate with a slope on the side. We need to attach the dark blue plate along these 3 here, and then the dark blue plate needs to go along this section here, and finally we need to put the 4x4 blue plate with the slope into this corner here. Next we need to take a 1x4 dark blue plate and attach it to this section here next to the Technic brick piece, a dark bluish grey stud applied here, and a blue 2x2 stud with the slope on the side attached to this section here, and then finally a 1x2 dark blue plate and a 2x4 dark blue plate with the slope on the side, attached to this section here, and this section here, and then we need to take two of these one by 10 dark blue plates and attach them along the bottom of the wing. And then a 3x12 dark bluish grey plate with the slope on the side, and apply that into this corner here. And lastly, a 1x4 dark blue plate applied in that section there. Now we get to apply the spring-loaded shooter feature and the underside of the exhaust port. To do that, we need to take the spring-loaded shooter piece, which is the same size as a 1x4 Lego brick, but with that spring-loaded section in the center, a 1x2 dark bluish grey plate with rounded corners and two hollow studs, a 4x4 Lego brick with the slopes on this section, and down the underside, and finally a 1x10 dark blue plate. They need to be applied here, 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 and lastly the spring-loaded shooter needs to be applied here. For the next step, we need a large light bluish grey plate with the slope, a 2x3 light bluish grey plate with the slope, a 2x6 dark bluish grey plate, and a 2x3 dark blue plate. They need to be applied to this section here, this section here, this section here, and lastly, this section here. For the next step, we need a 1x8 dark bluish tile, a 2x2 modified plate with a curved underside, we need 3 of those pieces, and lastly one 2x1 dark bluish grey plate with curved ends and 2 open studs. They need to be applied here, 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 and here, like so. Now we need to rotate the wing piece over to the top, and we need to create a sub-assembly for the engine exhaust ports. For that we need 2 of the light bluish grey rounded tiles with the axle hole in the centre, 2 of the transparent yellow dome pieces with the 2x2 open studs in the top and the curved smooth area on the bottom, a 2x2 modified dark bluish grey plate that's modified to have a 1x2 dark bluish plate standing on its side with the studded area on one side and an anti-stud area on the other. 1 2x2 dark bluish grey tile, and lastly 4 of the dark bluish grey tiles that cover a 1x1 studded area that have a curved side. And then to create that sub-assembly, all we need is one of the circular tiles attached on the underside of the 2x2 dark bluish grey square tile, followed by another light bluish grey circular tile, and the 4 curved 1x1 tiles. Then we need to flip it over to the underside to apply the 2 transparent yellow 2x2 tiles with the smooth underside, and then lastly rotating it over again to apply the bracket piece, that 2x2 dark bluish grey tile with the 1x2 dark bluish grey tile on its side, applying it here, and that is the sub-assembly for the engine exhaust ports, and we need to apply that section just here. The next step wants us to add more detailing, such as the yellow 2x2 plate covering the connection point of the engine exhaust port, a light bluish grey 1x2 smooth tile to be attached here, and a 2x4 plate with 2 slopes on either side and a studded area of 2x2 studs attached to this section here. The next step wants us to apply a dark blue 1x2 stud plate on top of the 2x2 yellow plate, a 1x2 double cheese slope in light bluish grey needs to be attached to the 2x4 plate with the 2 slopes on either side, and finally the dark bluish grey 1x2 plate with the curve along the top and the slope down the side needs to be attached to the curved section here to add a more natural end to that dark bluish grey section there. And then the next step needs us to apply sticker number 1 from the sticker sheet to the top section of the dark bluish grey curved 4x4 brick with the 2 studs on the top, and it wants us to put the wider section of the sticker design closer to the top, nearer to where the studs are. As you can see, the wider section of the design is closer to the studs on the top, as seen in the instructions. And now I'll cover up the engine exhaust ports to make it look that little bit more complete, not just on the underside, but also on the top. And finally, for bag number 3, it wants us to attach the wing piece to the ratcheted area by simply putting the Technic axle pin through that hole on the Technic brick, and then the 3 Technic pins to go through those 3 holes there on the Technic brick. So now with that attached, we can rotate the wing on this side up into its landing position, and then down into its flight position, and with the cockpit we can then rotate it underneath.